Good morning. I don't know about you, but I definitely make mistakes. It's hard to admit that, especially when you like to pretend that you're a perfectionist. A couple of weeks ago on The Professor Helps, I talked about the fact that we are human, not alien, which means we require help from the other humans. Even though the temptation is really strong to look good, feel good, never admit that something bothers us. I wanted to talk today a little bit about grace. Everybody is really stressed out right now. Everybody is having difficulties. Everybody is needing just a little bit more help, a little bit more grace. The truth is we needed that before we had a global pandemic to concern ourselves with, because in life, humans need help. So I wanted to tell a story about the fact that recently, only yesterday, I had an exchange with somebody who I did not handle myself very well. And it would be easy to just brush it off and say, you know what, it wasn't a great time, it wasn't a good exchange, I'm just gonna let that go. But the truth is that I owe it to that person as much as I owe it to myself to clean that up. And I think that that's a piece that's missing for us, because as humans we get really prideful and like, I don't want to apologize because God forbid I admit that I have a problem or there's something wrong on my side. It's all them. The truth is, in most exchanges, there is a piece from the other person, there's a piece from you, and the two of you can come together to make it work. And yesterday I was really completely taken aback by the person's response. It almost made me cry because I apologized and their response was so genuine, so real, and just so graceful that I felt compelled to talk about it today. And I look back, and it's something that I do sometimes when I'm feeling like there's a difficult time and things are very hard, is to look back at times where, things were difficult and what did I do? And it made me think about some exchanges I've had with people and how, they've apologized or we've apologized to each other. And I'm thinking recently about a friend of mine. We had a disagreement and we talked about it. We both gave each other some space and we both said, look, I love you. I know this is going to be a difficult conversation. The first thing to think about is the love, and then we'll talk about the disagreement. And it worked out great. Now, there are times when that isn't possible and it just doesn't work out. No matter how much your intentions are there and you feel like you're doing everything you can, it doesn't always work out. And I definitely want to give those times their weight. However, I think the biggest thing to think about right now is the fact that we're all stressed out. We're all so taxed beyond belief. We're super stressed out. By the way, did you file your taxes? Because today is the 15th of July. My tax accountant mom would want me to tell you that. She'd also want me to tell you that it's, CPA, not accountant. Anyway, so we're taxed, we're stressed, we're worried. And the thing is that we're just not at our best right now. So what could be more helpful than if we helped another person be their best? Or we said, they didn't really mean that. And the thing that I keep thinking about is a quote I saw a couple of years ago, which is that just because I don't complain about my load doesn't mean it's not heavy. So people like myself are pretty positive, pretty outgoing, pretty sparkly. And it's easy to think that we don't have burdens and we don't have a load. But the truth is everybody's carrying a load, whether they talk about it or not. And I think one of the things that I want to put forth today in my message about The Professor Helps is that we could all stand to give ourselves a little bit more grace. And by ourselves, I mean all of the people, starting with yourself. So I think that the message today is give yourself grace. You are going through a lot right now. I don't know you personally. I just know that you are going through a lot right now, no matter what it is, no matter what's going on in your life. Even if your home life is perfect, work life might not be great. Work life might be horrible, but home life is great. Or some mix of that is going on. Let's not forget the global pandemic thrown in for good measure. It doesn't go away, doesn't stop. The systemic racism, definitely something to keep you worried and up at night. Can't speak for you. I know it works that way for me. So what I would encourage you to do is if you start to snap at somebody or start to harshly react to something that they say, take a breath. And I mean literally take a breath. And let it out. And then see where you are. because you might feel differently after you take that breath, because so many of us are going from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other, and we're not really taking that breath to see the human being that's standing right in front of us, ready to interact, ready for us to learn from, ready for us to listen to and hear the questions behind the questions, the things that they aren't really asking, the things that they aren't really saying. It's up to you as another human being to really get the message that they're giving you. And sometimes it's not, hey, that wasn't something that, I wanted you to do. I wanted you to do something else. Sometimes it's, I'm really struggling right now. And the way that you can tell that is that while it seems like I'm being really obnoxious to you, what's happening is that I'm going through a really stressful time right now, and it's causing me to not be at my best. Please give me some grace. So, please subscribe to The Professor Helps. These messages are to inspire you, motivate you, and yes, sometimes frustrate you, and they are released every week. Please share if this helped you. Go ahead and subscribe. Of course, make sure you click on that bell so you don't miss any of my posts, and make sure that you share and you tune in every week on Wednesday. And this has been The Professor Helps, signing off.